Hey, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to talk about SPY ranges today. I'm going to talk about a little information to help you process the market. But let's go back to yesterday and what I spoke about yesterday morning. I gave you guys my pre-market strategy. I did say the market could pump at some time during the day, the SPY going to $412.50, and that would be my entry, repeating exactly what I did on Wednesday. On Thursday, let's remember, on Wednesday, I got into SPY puts at 412.50. SPY went down. I secured profit yesterday again, and I did paper hand my trade. I made about 88%. SPY puts at $412.50. SPY dropped to 410. I sold my contracts for 88% profit. Why didn't I hold longer? Because the SPY had been showing support for 4 straight days at 410. However, when it broke through the 410 level, I mentioned that the next level down was $406 and like 44 cents or 46 cents. Now, we didn't see that, but we got damn close to it yesterday. And this morning pre-market, and it's crazy because after I took the 88% profit, it was like literally 5 minutes later, the option price went up by another like full dollar. And again, I was holding 12 contracts. So you're talking about $1,200. Again, it's not a killer day, but it definitely is one of those small piles that keeps adding and growing and making your account larger. It's tough when you leave $200, $400, $1,200 on the sidelines. But the fact that the SPY is sitting at 406, let's call it pre-market, again, those options that I went in and I paid $1.54 for are going to be worth somewhere in the range of $600 to $700 per contract this morning, meaning 400%. Let's remember, I bought out with today's expiration. Why? In case I was wrong yesterday. Let's say the market didn't drop yesterday afternoon. Now let's talk about why the market dropped yesterday afternoon. Had a bunch of people on Discord saying, why did the market drop? How come it just dropped? There are two factors involved with how come the market dropped. Number one, you had one of the Fed speakers come out and suggest 50 basis point increase in rates coming up for the next meeting. Understanding that the Fed swaps rate, which determines the percentage that they're going to increase 25 or 50 basis points or 100 basis points or whatever, it was telling us with 1% chance the Fed was going to increase 50 basis points for the next meeting. Now, after those comments and after you look at the Fed swaps rate, that percentage is close to 18%. Again, we're a long ways off from 100% saying the next rate hike is going to be 50 basis points because it's probably not. It's probably going to be 25 basis points. But the fact is, the market heard that information. Volume was extremely light yesterday. So anytime there's extreme light volume day in the market, any type of news or any type of manipulation, doesn't even have to be news. It could be a strong surge of buying. It could be call buying on the SPY, and then they push those stocks up knowing that they were going to invest with their funds or the institutions or big money. So anytime there's low volume, there's definitely a chance of a spike or a drop. Now, yesterday we happened to see the drop. With that said, so I gave you my pre-market strategy yesterday. If you stick with me through this live stream at the end, I will wrap it up and tell you exactly what I'm looking at. Let's remember the other play that I mentioned yesterday and the day before. Upstart. Upstart was up like 30% 2 days ago on shitty earnings and terrible guidance. What did I do? I went out till March 17th. I bought some $20 put options. I told you Upstart, which was at $23, I said was going down to $18. What number did it hit yesterday? Didn't hit 18 yet. It hit $19 and like 30 cents. That was my exit. After I exited, it went back up to $20.50, but it closed the day even lower. So yes, if I hadn't had scissor hands, paper hands, I would be making even more money. But again, I went out to March to be safe because I didn't know that it was going to drop the next day, but it did. Upstart was a moneymaker again. I believe it's going down to the $17 to $18 range. Let's just see where it is this morning. It's off 2.69%. It's at $18.42 pre-market. Again, it was as low as $18.82 yesterday, and I got out at $19.30. So did I do the best job? No, I didn't do the best job, but I made money with a decent strategy, and that's what I want to teach you, because if you don't have the right strategy, making money is almost impossible. So you need to have the right strategy. You need to show patience. If you miss entry, and again, I missed entry on SPY puts yesterday. I mentioned to my group at $412, I was looking to enter in. I entered into one contract and I was like, oh shit, I missed it. It's already dropping. And then it spiked back up. In fact, when I got in at $412.50, let me just bring it up here. Stop sharing, present, and we'll bring up Discord as well so you all can see what I'm talking about. But let's just bring up the SPY first. Make sure I'm sharing it and not just talking about it. Add to screen. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to point out some inflection points. We'll go back to probably a 3-minute chart here. So I was looking at SPY puts right around here. It was $412. And then we saw a drop and I was like, oh shit, I missed entry. Don't chase. I talked about missing entry. And then what happens from there? The SPY went even higher. We went to $412.50. Here's where I got into my SPY puts, right around here. What happened after? It went up to like 1412.83, something to that extent. We saw a drop and I was like, okay, I'm going to be right. I'm in the green. I'm finally correct. My timing was pretty accurate. And after that, the SPY pumped even harder. It went to 412, I think like 84, 85, something like that. And I was like, okay, shit, maybe I won't be wrong, but at least I gave myself the extra day to be correct. And then we saw the market drop. And right around here, I was looking at this is the 3-minute chart, but I was looking at the 1-minute chart and I said, okay, there's a little volume. $410 seems to be holding. That's been a support line for 4 straight days. Let me sell and take profit. I didn't scale out. I sold all of my contracts. I took the 88% profit. However, 5 minutes later, what do we see? Significant drop, followed by significant drop, followed by a bit of a rebound, but a significant drop. Again, back down to the 408 level. My SPY puts were $412 puts. In fact, we were at 408. That makes them worth $4. I got out at like almost $3. Again, my exit was going to be $300 per contract. They went at least to $400 contract. And if you look at pre-market this morning, let's just see if we get the pre-market up. We're at 406. So if you take a 412 put and you're at 406, it's basically worth $600 per contract. Plus you have the time decay for today. So you figure in maybe an extra 40 or 50 cents. You're talking about $650 per contract. Again, if you're in at $150 a contract and you're selling at $650 a contract, you're talking about 400% return. So the fact that I'm proud of myself for getting almost 100%, I left 300% on the table. I said I was going to hold overnight. I didn't hold overnight. It is tough. So not only do you need to have the patience and the strategy, you also need to show the right conviction. Just because you know what's going to happen or you believe you know what's going to happen, you position yourself correctly for what you think is going to happen. But then you're just watching the screen. You're like, oh shit, you know what? I'm up 300. I'm up 800. I'm up 4,000, whatever it is. I'm going to take profit. Yes, you can scale out. But if you believe that we're going to retest the next support level, which again, I believe 410 was going to be support yesterday. The fact that 410 lost support, kind of surprised me a little, but a little not. So we're going to talk about the SPY dark pool levels for today. Let me just pull up Discord, because the same way that I kind of knew that if we broke 410, we were going to see 406 and change. That's how I'm going to share that information with you today. And I do have some other stories to talk about, but let's talk about the level of the SPY right now. And the SPY is the S&P as well. So you're basically at 406 this morning. If you're looking at the S&P, you're talking about 4060, so 4,060. But again, I like to trade off the SPY. SPY is market direction. It's a small percentage of the S&P. It's like a condensed version. Again, we're talking about 406. So let's talk about the ranges and what could potentially happen. So we look at the dark pool levels closest to 406, and you see 406.44, which has some good volume here at 17.85, almost $19 billion worth, 406.44. So the fact that we're starting out at 406 tells me the market could definitely be bought up and open. Now, understand, it wasn't like a snowball effect yesterday saying, okay, well, we're going to crash, we're going to go down, we're going to crash on Friday, we're going to crash again on Monday. Here's what possibly could have happened. You had Wednesday's day of trading where there was definitely consolidation in a lot of stocks because we were pumping the market earlier in the week. So you say, okay, Wednesday stocks consolidated. Thursday was actually just like a similar day, dip, being bought up. We're back at 412, 412.50, 413 on the SPY. And then you say to yourself, that is when the Fed speaker came out and said 50 basis points could be likely for the next increase. Now, the market only factored in 25 basis points and is thinking about cuts later in the year. So the 50 basis points really threw the market into tilt. So it had people reevaluating what they're going to do. Now, again, a lot of traders chose to be safe, secure profit. I mean, we've had quite a run in the past, month and a half. I mean, you're talking about the NASDAQ is probably up 16, 17%. The SPY is up 8%. The Dow is likely up 6 to 8% itself. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to go to the SPY ranges. Let me just pull that back up. Okay. So 406.44. Understand, if the market cannot hold the 406.50 range, okay, let's call it 406.50. And again, pre-market, we're sitting right at 406. So what's likely to happen if 406.44 becomes support right on market open? We don't even see much of a dip. We see up here, a little hovering, and then goes higher. You're looking at the next level up, and the next level up is 408.26. Understand, this level at 408.26, hopefully you can see my cursor, has only $9.3 billion worth of the SPY. So with that said, if the market does choose to go higher, it's likely to go all the way from 406 all the way to the 410 range. Now you're talking about 410.08 acting as resistance, or if we break through, you're going to see 412 again. Now, neither would surprise me, okay? Again, I usually have some type of feeling going into the trading day, and I say, this is my strategy today. This is how it's going to play out. But rather than doing that today, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to say, first level of support or rejection, 406.44. If we break that going higher, there's a ghost zone in the 408 level, meaning very small supply and demand all the way up to 410. So if the market does go up on open, you're talking about we're opening right at 406. I could see it run all the way to 410 on the SPY. You're talking about 4 points. You're talking about 1 full percent. You're talking about Friday's day of the market. And if this market goes up 1%, you're talking about your other stocks also rebounding, whether it's a Roblox, Tesla, Upstart, even stuff that I'm negative about. Again, if the market's going to go up and be bought up, they're going to buy the dip, then you're going to see 410 and possibly in the afternoon 412 or 413, right where we were yesterday before the news came out about a possible 50 basis point increase. Okay, now let's play bears, okay? Let's play on the bearish side. Bearish side is I'm going back. We're at 406 this morning. We get a bit of a pump this morning. Maybe it goes plus or minus 30 cents higher than 406.44. So I would be looking for a rejection right under 407. I say to myself, if 407 gets rejected and there's good volume there, then I know we're going back down to the next level. So I say, okay, this 406.44 plus 50 cents. So 407 gets rejected. Where are we going? Well, the next level down is 404.61. I'm circling that right here. You only have $7 billion worth of SPY. 402.79, only $3 billion. 497, only $6 billion. So what does that tell me? It tells me in a light volume day, a day similar to all the days that we've had this week, we could see a major downward move. So again, I gave you the best case upward bull case scenario. Bull case scenario is 406.44, acts as support. We cross over that ghost level at 408. We hit all the way to 410. And again, 410 could reject or could go higher to 412. That's your bull case scenario. Your bear case scenarios, I just showed you the levels of the dark pool on the SPY are so small right at the 404, 402, and 400 level that if the market decides to go bear today and to continue the sell-off, which we saw yesterday on some decent afternoon volume, we're going to start at 406. 406, it's going to try and go up. We reject the 407 number that I mentioned. That's my strategy today. If we reject the 407 number right out of the gate, then we're going to drop. And I'm telling you, there's almost a ghost zone or a lack of supply and demand from the ranges of 400 all the way to 404. So possibly retracement in a bear market scenario. Again, I'm giving you what I believe will happen. We'll go down to 399. Now you can't see it on my dark pool level, but if my chart was a little longer, you'd see probably 399. I think it's around 11. All of a sudden, the dark pool level's back at 20 billion. So again, if we go down, I would expect we'd find support right at the 399 level. Now, if we go down and we close at what, 408, and we're going to see, let's say 399 plus or minus 50 cents, you're talking about a 2% decline today in the market. Seems kind of likely with what we saw yesterday. However, again, I have two scenarios. Scenario one, bear case, we go down from 408, go to 406 where we are this morning, pop up to 407, and then we drop and we fade throughout the day, and we see 400 at some point today, 400 flat. So you're saying the market's down 2%. Your bull case scenario is you see major support right at the 406.44 level. And yes, we're opening up less than that. We're opening up probably right around 406. Yeah, 405.90 right now. We're still 30-something minutes away, 45 minutes away from open. So anything could happen. It could go back to 406, 406.50. In fact, what's likely to happen before we get to the open at 9:30, and again, you could judge this and use my information to see if I believe I'm going to be correct today. So what do I expect to happen from 8:46, which we are right now, all the way to 9:30 a.m.? The market will likely tick up a little if I think I'm going to be correct, meaning it will get closer. Instead of being at 405.90 pre-market, will likely open closer to 406.44, which is a big dark pool level. At the 406.44, if the market feels it's going to have support, it will shoot up. And again, 408 is a very ghostly range. So you're talking about 410. On the way down, again, if 407 or 406.44 rejects, I believe we're going to see 400 today. Let me just see what kind of other news stories I have for us or data information. Please, if you have any questions, ask them on the side. If you can, give me a thumbs up, make a comment. Everything YouTube does is algorithms and analytics. So, of course, it helps. All right. So I was going to talk about, okay, so let's talk about my SPY puts yesterday real quick. I started up 40%, did not secure profit. Then I was down 39%. Then I was up 16%. And then again, I sold for 88%. So when you're riding the elevator again, and you're watching the market consistently, when you see yourself up 40% to down 40% to up 88% or 90%, you choose to get out rather than fulfilling my strategy. Yeah, I just don't have to share that information. Let's just see what we got. I added 4 more contracts, right? Nothing good there. There was, that doesn't really matter. That doesn't really matter to affect the market. We could talk about SPY levels. No. Okay. So we could talk about what else might be. So let me just go to my Webull account here, tell you what I saw. Okay. So DoorDash, right? DoorDash had earnings, kind of popped off earnings, was up as much as 12% yesterday. After hours is now only up 4% pre-market. So there's a trading idea for you right there. If the market decides to pump, and again, the market right now, okay, so my guess estimate on the SPY right before open, remember 3 minutes ago, we were sitting under 406 and I said we'd likely open around 406.44. We're back at 406.34. So right away, I believe I'm going to be correct today as far as the two strategies go. Datadog, interesting because Datadog had terrible earnings and was sold off into the market yesterday, and then they just bought up the dip. When I say they bought up the dip, I mean big money. So again, I'll be looking at Datadog for maybe some type of move. The US dollar, which was 104, again, even though it's declining a little bit this morning, and if I was zoom in, I'll show you the decline, but you can see the upward trend on the US dollar. As the US dollar gets stronger and increases in value, it makes it more expensive in the market. Now, why do we see a little rebound in the market? Because the US dollar is coming back down right there. If I look in a micro scale, like zooming in rather than zooming out, the 5-day tells me dollar's going higher. The 1-day tells me, well, shit, the dollar just dropped 20 cents in the last 30 minutes. If that continues to happen and the dollar goes down, the market could salvage itself. But again, zoom out. That's a bull chart for the dollar. The dollar will likely approach 105 today. Again, if the dollar goes up to 105 today, what's likely to happen is the markets will likely drop, and you'll see the SPY in the 400 or 401 level. That's what I'm thinking. And we've got Ryan who's watching again. DXY, which is the US dollar, spikes to the highest roughly since January 8th. Yes, but again, we saw the US dollar as low as 101, which is 4% lower. And that was earlier in the year as the market was going up. And we also, if you remember, exiting last year, we saw the US dollar at the $113 range, 112.50. And I kept mentioning 112.50. If we go down 50 cents, that's a good bullish sign for the market. Again, so instead of being at 112, instead of being at 100, we're currently at 104.42. Again, if we approach 105, and you can follow the symbol, it's DXY. The US dollar should always be on the top of your chart because it has a major impact in the market. So much of investing in the market is levered, and it's all about percentage return. And as you're paying more to invest in the market, the US dollar going up or interest rates going up make it more expensive to invest in the markets. So thoughts on DXY trending up? Yeah, exactly. This is the point that I just made. Again, if you're zooming in, you're saying, okay, in the last 30 minutes, it's dropped 0.2%. Shit, that should be strong for the market. And what did you see? The market in the SPY, which was off 0.75 this morning, is now off less than 0.5 this morning. So again, you're talking about 25, not percent, 0.25%. A Discord link, yes, because we're going to be doing all this over on Discord. And again, I mentioned Romeo. I believe Romeo might be doing a live stream today. He did one yesterday. He did one Wednesday. He did Homework Club on Tuesday evening. He talked about orbs on Monday. So this week's been a crazy busy week, but people are making tons of profit using Romeo. Again, he's been on fire probably now 2.5 months, and he probably was on fire before that. But since I've been talking about it, I mean, I check on what he's saying every day. And yesterday he started off the day, I think it was NVIDIA or maybe it was ExxonMobil. It was one of those two, but he started out, he said, who got into this play? 10%, 20%. Okay, 66% in 3 minutes of trading. So even if you don't have time to trade and your tradings are marked around the beginning of the market, 9:30 to 9:45, again, he does his live streams at 9:15. He goes on, he tells you what he's expecting. He explains his orbs, he explains his candlesticks, and then he tells you, here's what I'm looking at, and he gives you specific price targets. Whereas I talk about 412, 412.50, I round up on the SPY, I round down, I say, okay, 406.50 should be support or rejection. We will see upon market open. He's giving you more concise, more specific numbers. So that extra 20 or 30 or 10 cents, it helps out because you're talking about an extra 10% per contract. So if you're getting in at the right moment and you're securing profit at 40, 50, 60%, you feel like a winner. All right, remember, do not overtrade. See question. What's this? Oh, did I skip the whole top? Oh, I guess I skipped a little. Good morning. Can we look at levels for Tesla? Sure, let's look at levels for Tesla because Tesla is interesting. Oh, shoot. I messed that one up. All right, let's go to Discord. Let's look at the dark pool level for Tesla. TR DP levels. Oh, shit, I can't even spell this morning. TR DP levels. Tesla. Now, let's remember Tesla from the other day. Make sure you guys can see it on the screen. I was mentioning when we were at $212, I mentioned the next dark pool level down was very small. It wasn't as large as you're seeing here at 202.63. It was smaller, and then the next dark pool was 198. And I mentioned we can go down to 198 that day, and I think we hit maybe like 201. We get pretty damn close to it. Again, Tesla's had some major support. Now, if you look at Tesla, let me just see Tesla from yesterday. Make sure it was an outflow day. Yeah, I mean, Tesla had an outflow day yesterday. Now, here's the thing about Tesla. When it has an outflow day or a selling day, they usually run 2 consecutive days going all the way back to January 17th and 18th. Then you've got the end of January, the 30th, the 31st. February, it looks like the 8th and the 9th. And then again, yesterday being February 16th, I think was yesterday. Hopefully it wasn't the 17th. No, it was the 16th yesterday. So if we get another outflow day today, what's likely to happen to Tesla? Well, Tesla's dark pool is right at 202.63. Tesla pre-market is sitting at 199.38. It closed at 202. So it closed at 202. Now you're seeing the next largest dark pool level for Tesla at right here at 192.62. Again, it could be plus or minus 30 cents. So let's give Tesla the benefit of the doubt. Let's say it goes 30 cents higher. So you're talking about $193, okay? The fact that Tesla is sitting at $199 pre-market, closed at 202, I would go out on a limb, and I don't think I have to go very far on a limb to say that Tesla will touch 193 at some point during the day. Again, I'm going out on a limb. I'm giving a prediction. What I do is I do an educated guess. I look at the dark pool levels. I look at the US dollar. I look at movement on the SPY. I look at movement on other stocks. Now, let's remember, I wanted to short Apple yesterday. Apple was $156 and I think 56 cents. Anywhere above 156 look good for me to short because I'm looking for Apple to retrace back to the $151 level. Again, Apple was holding up the market. I didn't pull the string on that one because Apple's been just so strong. Even pre-market now, it looks like they're buying up Apple again to 152.42. It was down as much as, I guess, 151 flat maybe. Had a nice drop off overnight. So if they look to buy up the dip, and we saw that yesterday until the Fed's announcement. So let's just omit the Fed's announcement about 50 basis points. If you want to take the strategy, they're buying the dip. And I mentioned this yesterday morning when I talked about my strategy, and I said, you know what, they could buy the dip from 408 all the way up to 412.50. But since I'm not a bull, it's hard for me to get on a trade right out of the gate and say I want to buy calls out of the gate and ride it from 408 all the way to 412.50. But that strategy would have worked. So what might I do this morning if I want to trade very early in the morning and I happen to think they might buy up the dip like they've been doing every day except for now 5 trading days the entire year. So we're, let's see, 1, 2, we're probably 12. We're probably about 33 trading days in the whole year. Let's just say 30 to 33. 5 days the dip hasn't been bought up, meaning the market dips and it goes down to a lower level. 5 times out of, let's say, 30 trading days, okay? That's about 12.5%, okay? That's not very high. So what is the market likely to do? Again, these large positions, and that's why the market is so confusing and it's hard to invest. But once you know your strategy and once you know what you're looking for, you can follow accordingly. So me, if I think the market is going to get bought up to that 410 or even 412 range like we saw yesterday, I'm going to look and find major support right at the 406.50 range. If I see the SPY, that would be your bull case scenario. If I see the SPY dip and rip all the way to 407, let's say 25 out of the gate, and then it rejects 407.25, I think we're dropping back down to the 400 level. 400 level, 401, something to that extent, 402. Again, I've mentioned the dark pool levels from earlier. Okay, so that was Tesla. Good morning, small piles. Let's see. Do I think JP Morgan will back up since the yes, I heard that rumor. Top exec at JP Morgan was involved with Epstein, calling the girls that they partied with, the underage girls, which he ended up, killing himself. And then you had Maxine, who's in prison. And yeah, other people will be charged. Yeah, Prince Andrew was somewhat affiliated with that. I mean, there's some crazy shit there. Hey, Josh. Hey, Mike. Thanks for what you do. I'm assuming you mean Matt, but I get confused like that. Thanks for what you do. I know you care a lot about the dark pool, but I'm starting to think Max Payne is what. No. Okay, I got to stop you right there. He's talking about Max Payne. So Max Payne is, and let me just explain, when there are options that expire within the same day, 0 days till expiration options, you're talking about Max Payne. Now, Max Payne means for those buying the options, if it goes to a certain level, let's say SPY 412, then people will be feeling Max Payne, or SPY 404, Max Payne. It means the people that invested in the options that are expiring on this day, meaning Friday, will lose the most amount of money. Now, I've had that Max Payne theory a number of times, and it works. Some days it works to a T, and you're like, Max Payne was 405. We're right at 405. Shit, they knew how to punish the retail trader who was trading the options. Let's remember, retail traders are trading the most options out there. It's not the hedge funds. It's not the bankers. They're investing, they're buying, and they're selling stock, and we're playing options off their stock purchases, trying to plan in advance so we can make the most money. Anyway, so yeah, I don't think it's a Max Payne thing. And can Max Payne be found in Discord? No, but that's a good idea. Maybe we should add that. When I do it, I just Google the date. I will say into Google, hey, February 17th, SPY Max Payne. And usually a chart will come up from, I think it's Ninja or Ninja Warrior or Ninja Trading or something like that. It's all free, so you can Google it. And it'll tell you what the Max Payne is. And it'll tell you, hey, the SPY is sitting at 408 as of close on Thursday. Max Payne at the SPY is, whatever it is. In fact, if you want to figure it out this morning, let's just figure it out right now. Let me type that in. Max Payne SPY, February 17th. And unfortunately, when I type in Max Payne, it thinks I mean Max Payne like a character, Payne, I guess. Okay, so here you go. Hopefully you can see it. The Max Payne for the SPY on February 17th, 2023 is 402. And then you have a Max Pain calendar from stockninja.io. Again, I've used that one before. There's a site called max-pain.com. Again, you don't need to pay for this because you just Google it. So Max Pain's 402, which means if the SPY hits the 402 level, let's just say SPY drops to 402 and trades at 402 all day, that means the most amount of people will lose the most amount of money. People have 410, they have 406, they have 415 calls. Some people have puts under 400. Again, at 402, it means the max pain for most investors. So that wouldn't surprise me. Again, that would be bearish on the market. I've already gave you my bear case scenario on the market. Bear case scenarios, we knock up to 407 on the SPY, 407.10, 407.20, and we drop all the way down to 400. Now, the buy the dip mentality or the bull case scenario that we've seen almost every day on a down day, except for 5 days the entire year. So days that the market drops 75 to 78% of those days, it actually rebounds. So, I mean, we could easily see a drop in the morning. We could see a drop to one of the dark pool levels for the SPY. And let's just pull that up again. Let me just see if I can get back to the SPY. All right, here we go. SPY, boom, let's add that. All right, so let's say we're talking about max pain. So where would you see the whole thing about max pain is if you're seeing these dark pool levels in the SPY, they're so insignificant. So if we drop from the 406.44 level right here with $18 billion worth of SPY, and we crash past the 404 level, heading down to the 402 level, do I think we're going to pop off the 402? No, because the levels are so small. It's almost like a ghost zone. Again, so if we go down and we drop, if we pass 404, then we're going to 400. There's no doubt in my mind of that happening. Again, that's your bear case scenario. Your bull case scenario is they buy the dip. We see support right at the 406 level, and it spikes all the way back up to $410. What platform do you guys use for desktop trading? I guess you're talking to other members of the group, how they trade. I use Moomoo, I use Webull, I use Morgan Stanley, and I use some Robinhood occasionally when they don't piss me off. Robinhood sometimes pisses me off. My trade doesn't execute. They tell me a wrong price. Let's see what you got here. Oh, even flow. You're still holding two SPY puts from yesterday's contract. Yeah, I get it, man. I should be holding my 15. In fact, I mentioned at like 2 o'clock, hey, I'm going to ask $308 per contract. And then I said, you know what? I just got the dip. I'm selling it for $288 and taking 88%. 2 minutes later, it passed 308. It went to 328. I posted that. And then I was like, okay, 2 minutes later, it was at $378 a contract. And again, this morning, it's going to open up close to $600 a contract. So I'm in at 154. I sold that at 288. It popped to 378. Would have been a great exit. I would have been so much happier. And again, this morning, we're probably up to $600 per contract. Ellie, what are you saying here? My SPY puts printed yesterday, got out of that position that expired today, secured my profit, and re-entered. Okay, so there's another great thing. What she did is she secured profit and then she rolled them out, meaning she still likes the trade. However, knowing that her SPY put's expiring today, she wanted to secure profit and then go out a few extra days. Yeah, I think you made like 300% on your account yesterday. Please hit the like button. Yeah, I think I've answered most of the other questions. What do we got here? B. Will be upgrading and getting the membership today. Okay, cool, man. I appreciate that. Using your advice, I had my first 2 SPY objects that were both successful, 40% call and 20% on that put. Yeah, okay, yeah, so that's why I talk about my strategy. But understand, Mr. B, when you join, please pay attention to Trader Chat. The next thing you want to do is learn how to use the Flow and Algos room. So let me just add the Discord right here, and we're going to end this pretty soon. But here's the Flow and Algos room, and here it says how to. So we have a whole page on how to use all of your symbols, okay? Here's what you do. Here are your commands. You can type in big flow, flow sum, unusual flow, top flow, algo flow, net flow. You can use days till expiration. You can search out anything. There are so many specifics. And yes, we use Tradie Flow for analytics. And again, here's the room that you type out all your instructions in. Here's where I look to the dark pool levels, the SPY. So it's great. So, but what I'm saying is not every day is like a magical, easy day. The most important thing when you join is you want to learn how to use the tools correctly. If you don't use the tools, then you're not doing a benefit to yourself. You're doing a benefit by joining Discord. But if you're not really using Discord, then please, use the tools. Don't overtrade. It's all about entry point. Oh, hey, Sarah, how are you? Ranges on the Qs today. I mean, I can tell you something similar. I don't really look at the Qs as much as I look at the SPY. Qs being technology. And again, we've had some major moves with Roku, with Tesla, obviously. And if they're just buying the dip, I mean, this could be a buy the dip day. Like, hey, man, everything's on sale from yesterday, and we're going to push back to those levels. So, I mean, your bull case scenario is Qs are opening at 301. They get bought up all the way to about 305 or 306. So 301 to 305, you're talking about going up at least 1.5% from where we are if they're going to continue to buy the dips. On the downside, I actually have to go out to a month chart. And let me just open this up. I can see us going down to 298, 297 perhaps. And again, if the market throws up on itself and you see the SPY at 400, if the SPY breaks through certain levels and is at 400, then you're going to see the Qs break through as well. And if the SPY is going to go to 400 and lose 2%, then you say, okay, what's 2% off the Qs at 303? You're talking about 297, 296. So yeah, it could go further than I thought. Again, it's going to be like that. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, duly noted. So again, I just want to implore, better to be safe. It's better not even to make a trade during the day than to say, shit, I lost $50. Shit, I lost $500, or shit, I lost $5,000. It's better to say, man, I was going to take this trade. Oh, I would have made whatever. But if you don't get the proper entry, you're looking to pay $1, and the option's $1.10, it's $1.06, it's $1.04, it's back to $1.10, now it's $1.12, and you still have your bin in $1, you're not going to chase and go, oh shit, it's going back up, I'm going to pay $1.12, because what are you doing? You're paying 12% too much. So if you're talking about you just made 40% on a trade and 20% on a trade, if you take 12% out of those trades, you'd be at 28% and 8%. Risk versus reward, it doesn't make sense. Thanks, Matt. Yeah. And sorry, Matt. Yeah, it's okay. It's crazy. My father's name is Mike. I don't speak to my family anymore, but people have called me Mike. My brother's name is Adam. People have been like, hey, Adam. I'm like, why would you say that? My name is Matt, but they don't even know my brother. Anyway, just outside stories. We've been a lot of time today, 37 minutes here. I appreciate everybody staying with me. If you like it, please give me the like button, thumbs up. There are a lot of you here. Not everybody hits the like. If you can, it's just 1 second. If you have a comment, again, make it on the side when we're done. And follow me over to Discord, soc-platform.com. Again, soc-platform.com. And again, I'll be giving a market updated video soon, and I'll be giving you guys what I'm specifically looking for my Friday lotto play. Remember, last 3 Fridays, extremely profitable. So I'm going to be thinking about my lotto play in the next 5 minutes. I'll drop a Discord video by 9:12 or 9:13 this morning, and we'll go from there.